The powder room. The powder
Good evening and welcome to this week's Powder Room. Well, we have something special lined up for you today because we are going to dedicate the whole hour to cancer. What about cancer? This terrible, terrible disease that affects so many people in our lives. We are here to raise awareness and also to learn more about the new treatments that the GHA and the world is coming up with. So what is your story? What is your connection to cancer? What is your experience with the GHA and treatments out there in the UK and Gibraltar? You can WhatsApp us on +350 540 55200. I would love to get your text messages and I will read them out here in the show. Right, so we have a lovely audience with us this evening, mainly made up of breast cancer awareness and also breast cancer survivors. And we will be talking to them a little later. And of course, my panelists this evening are, I've forgotten your name.
Nicole, the broccoli?
The broccoli.
You can't use that one.
Our doctor in the house, Rena. We'll be testing your knowledge. And Jerry, who actually is a breast cancer survivor as well. So ladies, the first time you're on this season, how are things going? The summer is heating up. Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. You've got your summer camp coming up,
We
huh?
do,
Very
absolutely. Bigger and better than ever, as expected. Busy. And I think the heat's just kind of hit us all at once, and it's just come fast and thick, I think.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was my
trying to brace
age.
before that happens. And with the school changes, the school date changes, that's kind of moved our parameters and it's kind of shifted our plans. But we are pulling through, we're surviving, and
you're
we're
up
looking
and
forward to it.
running.
Absolutely.
Yeah, help out there for all those parents that need respite.
Indeed.
A lovely summer for those that deserve it, and always doing a good job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well done, Nicole. Rena, you love Jib so much. You've decided to stay. You've bought yourself a flat. You're flashing your second-hand car, which looks brand new, on social media.
It's not new.
And your parents are coming to visit for the first time.
They are. That's really big. I mean, it's been 2.5 years now in Gibraltar. So, it definitely feels like this is my home now. It's just funny how that's crept up on me, and it's been quite a transition without me expecting that to be the case. But I'm really happy. I really enjoy it here, so no regrets.
So you are now a fully fledged Janita.
Exactly.
So many people come to Jib and find some way of connecting with it and then just stay.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
You hear that from people, don't you? It is a special place. I don't know. I mean, I've travelled a lot, as you probably know.
Yes.
I don't know. Something about this place has just kept me here. So I'm going with it. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Pleased to
Really
have you.
integrated as well, haven't you?
I feel like I have. I feel like I've made a lot of friends and connections, and I think that's just my personality. But it's been good. I do feel like I'm at home here.
Well, it's
definitely.
lovely to have an extra Janita. Thank you. So what have you been up to, Jerry, since the last time I've seen you? Your
Well-
daughter still playing football?
She is, and they've entered the GFA development under 14s into the Marbella Cup. So it's all been preparation for them to go into this tournament, which is absolutely fantastic. The investment into the girls is really, really great.
That is really
So,
good.
yeah.
My brother is actually a coach for
Yes, I
a
know.
women's... Oh, is he the enemy, is he? Yes, I know.
Yeah, I've been in the stands behind your brother.
But it's good that women's soccer is coming. Well,
Yeah.
soccer, I've used the American term.
Yeah.
Football is
No,
coming up.
it's really, really good. It's really good. So,
Yeah. And going to support Canada in the World Cup?
yeah, while they are still in the group stages. If they don't make it out. It was funny because, you know, those crazy sticker books that all these kids are going nuts about, right? The World Cup ones. So my daughter got one before they kept selling out. And she was going through all the stickers and whatever. And she knows more about the England players, their history, their clubs, everything than she does about the Canadian ones. But she supports Canada until they're done. Which will probably be the first couple weeks, but it's okay. Yeah.
Right, we're going to get back to you because we need to hear the latter part of your breast cancer story, which is
Absolutely.
relevant tonight. Rena, I'm going to pull you in as the doctor in the house for especially women's issues because you run the Well Women Clinic in Gibraltar at the GHA. And of course, you at home do get involved in the chat by WhatsApping on 350-540-55-200. You will see that number run across the bottom of the screen as well. So let's start with Health Matters. Thirst also matters. Okay, so there's vague symptoms, and this is how it all starts, which is obviously something that we need to be more aware of. And I've got a couple of questions about that with you, Rena. So Rena's the star of the show this evening. Let's take a look at this clip.
I'm Rena. I'm one of the GPs at the PCC. So we're talking about the vague symptoms pathway today. So vague symptoms can mean a variety of things. It can be losing weight without meaning to, losing your appetite, not feeling like eating, getting new types of pain, so maybe some unexplained tummy pain or joint pains, bone pains, maybe getting some bruising that you can't quite explain, feeling really tired, just not quite feeling yourself. If there's anything that you can't quite explain what's going on and the symptoms are not going away.
I do recall when I was diagnosed, as I said, in 2015, the mental impact and how difficult it was to cope with the not knowing what was wrong. The vague symptoms pathway will shorten the timescale of the tests that will be done to assist GPs to diagnose.
Most people with vague symptoms won't end up with a cancer diagnosis, only a small number will. But what we see in Gibraltar is, unfortunately, quite a few people have a very late stage of diagnosis of cancer. That means you have much worse treatment outcomes and options. If we can diagnose cancer early, we have a much better chance of survival and cure.
Okay, Rena, first and foremost, let's talk about those vague symptoms because those vague symptoms are exactly that. They're so vague. I wonder personally, without any disrespect to the GPs and the GHA, how they would take such vague symptoms seriously that it would set off an alarm bell or a red flag that they would take it to the next step. How would that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So patients come in with all sorts of symptoms, and sometimes it's a mix of symptoms, and you're really having to pick out what's not relevant, what's not important, and what is actually the red flag here. So we know the buzzwords to look out for, the red flag symptoms, that if they brought that up, that would automatically trigger something in us to ask more questions or maybe arrange some more investigations for that patient. So it could be something like weight loss, unexplained weight loss. So if any patient says, I've lost a lot of weight, the first thing we would ask is that intentional or not intentional? It could well be intentional. But if it's not, why have they lost so much weight? So that would be a massive red flag that we need to then arrange more blood tests, more investigations. So then we kind of go down a pathway of investigations. It could be something like extreme tiredness, which is completely unexplained. They're usually fit and well, and all of a sudden they're not able to wake up in the morning and do their job properly or do their general, day-to-day duties as they would. So we would then think about some more blood tests and more investigations. It's not easy because one symptom can trigger so many different pathways of what we need to look into. There's not just one set of blood tests that we would do. There's a whole range of bloods that we need to select. So we need to be very selective with what we're looking for from those symptoms. So it's never really easy to get to a diagnosis at the end from one symptom. We do have to go through a process, a bit of a pathway to get there. It's very individual for every patient. Every patient's going to present with different things.
There's also a matter of people realising their vague symptoms because I don't think I'd notice if I lost a few kilos in a matter of a month.
Not necessarily a few kilos, though, because, and I was just saying to Rena when we were watching it, and then you tried to think of other reasons why, because when I was
That's what I mean.
When I was diagnosed, it was the lump that I found, very, very small. But now that you're looking back on it, I was 48 kilos.
You were very slim back then, I
right?
remember.
And I was tired all the time. But of course you think, okay, at the time I was working 2 jobs, you know, single mom. You know, like you try and say, okay, well, this is that. I'm not eating properly. But it was so consistent and drastic. But that would have been the vague symptoms that I ignored.
And which patients do. So they often come, and that's the last thing you'll hear about in a consultation. Oh, by the way, I've lost a lot of weight. And then that's what you need to focus on and
Right.
ask more questions and go into that. So it's not as straightforward as a patient knowing what's wrong with them, that they will come to you with the information that you need. Sometimes you do need to get it out of them, and it will take a few appointments or a few assessments, consultations before you get to their diagnosis. Unfortunately, there are some conditions, which we obviously will go on to talk about today, which are not diagnosed quickly. And there's some cancers which unfortunately are so subtle that you won't pick up on it until it's quite late stage. And hopefully with medicine changing, that may change in the future, but there are still cancers that will be picked up on the very end stage, which is really unfortunate.
And that's what the health director, is she called?
Yeah.
Yeah, she mentions that you know that cancer patients in Gibraltar generally come in stage 3, stage 4, which makes it so much more difficult to help with medication moving forward and reduce those life-death percentages.
I mean, I've got a question. I mean, do you think, and I suppose it's for the panel in general, it's something I was thinking about when I was reading up on the topic as well, is do we think that maybe, because I know that there are some routine checkups that you get from a particular age, a particular standpoint, or if you know, you go to see your GP and you have particular symptoms. But would it be, or do you think it would sway things, or what's your opinion on what if all tests were opt-out instead of opt-in? Do you know what I mean? So basically making them, I know, forming like routine tests.
So there's
would
already,
that sway the numbers?
Yeah, there's already screening in process. And so that's one way of detecting cancers early is the screening programs.
Yeah.
So the main things at the moment is the breast cancer screening, the mammograms that happen every 2 years, the cervical screening, which happens every 3 years, and then eventually 5 years, and then the bowel cancer screening, which happens every 2 years.
I
and
got
it
mine
starts-
in the post.
Good.
Yeah. Bang on my birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's just another wonderful thing about being 60, you know? You get a bowel, go and have a poo.
I think all the screening is the same. You get your
Yeah.
mammogram as soon as you hit 40, or cervical screening as soon as you hit 20.
But hats off to them.
Of course.
Because it's accurate, you're included. I didn't have to call up or chase or wonder. It was there.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's there for you to use and to take advantage of. I think particularly, I think personally it's a really good thing that the DHA are doing.
absolutely.
For sure.
But
And
those are the cancers where you can pick up on it from the screening program.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the other cancers don't have a screening tool or something that is
Right.
accurate enough to tell us you're going to get cancer. So there will be tests that actually confuse matters a lot, and they will be
Okay.
positive when they weren't the right screening test anyway. So sometimes with too much knowledge, it can be a little bit dangerous, because if you want to try and get tests that you've heard of, they're not really helping with a diagnosis anyway. So the screening programs, we know they will help to detect cancer early, but we don't necessarily have all the screening tools in place for every single cancer. And hopefully that's something that will change, because one of the key things is early detection in cancer.
Yeah.
You can combat cancer if you detect it early.
The survival rate is going much, much better than it ever has been
Exactly.
at the moment.
And are there any, do you think, combinations of symptoms that, you know, because again, like we've just been saying about unexplained weight loss, or sometimes people, you know, if I've been eating less because the heat has come and I'm eating more salad this month, as an example.
You're
you know?
thinking it might be related to stomach cancer or pancreatic
No,
cancer?
I'm saying
or-
just if it's just weight loss. So, for example, it might not provoke people
But I think
to
that's
go and
what
see
the
the
pathway
GP.
means, right? So it's kind of like choose your own adventure book. You know, if you feel this, skip to page 26. Is that how it?
It's like Jerry said, you know, you've been through cancer. You didn't know that weight loss was something
No.
serious. You thought maybe you're working harder, maybe you've changed your diet. That's how a lot of patients will present themselves.
Yeah.
They think they're eating more salads.
That's it,
This
yeah.
is a good thing, I'm losing weight. So it's when you do the tests from that point that you will then try to home in on where is this coming from? Is it, and often
And it could
you'll
be
do a
something
ho-
else, like anemia, no,
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
So,
But,
you
so
would
that's
need-
my question. Is there particular, I don't know, like co-occurring symptoms? Are there particular, you know, symptoms that maybe might red flag for yourself as a doctor, but we would think, oh, well, I've just lost weight and
Oh,
noticed.
absolutely, yeah,
So,
we-
so that we might think it's not
Yeah,
much
yeah.
or nothing to write home about, maybe not enough to go and see a doctor about.
Yeah.
That maybe, is there any, do you think, co-occurring combinations there that
So those vague symptoms that video will go through from the GHA is actually quite good in terms of it goes through more or less the symptoms that don't quite fit anything, and you're left in this grey area of what does this mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with me, but they're the ones that maybe just go and speak to a GP if you do have any of those, because they are in the grey area. So they're the ones that we would know that we need to actually look into this a bit more, depending on the situation. Obviously, everyone's individual. You may monitor someone's weight or do all the bloods and find that absolutely everything is fine. There's no cause found for the weight loss. Then they're fine. There's nothing that we're concerned about here. But it may well trigger something that's the start of a cancer, and that's when you will then get into the right pathway or to the right specialty.
I think ultimately there's just go. That's what the GHA is there for. They're really great at that part, especially with the clinics that they have. So if you feel like it's something, don't feel like you're going to waste their time. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
You know?
And this is the good thing about Gibraltar compared to the UK, where I've worked in, London and Southampton. You don't know your colleagues that are working in the hospital necessarily. So you'll send a referral, you don't know where it will go to, who's picking up on it, what the follow-up is on it. The great thing about this in Gibraltar is that the GPs work very closely to the secondary care doctors, the ones in the hospital. So if we do send someone for a referral, we will quite likely discuss it with that colleague, and the patient care will be really good. So that's the comparison that I see in Gibraltar compared to back home, which is great follow-up and great consistency. Obviously, not everything works out perfectly all the time, but most of the time, there will be a good follow-up of every patient.
Let me just go back to symptoms, and let's avoid... Oh, we've got a telephone in the audience. I love it. Technology nowadays. And you're coming out on the TV, yeah? Con el teléfono.
I hope. Is it someone saying you look fabulous?
Todo queda en casa. I want to take you now, Rena in particular. I'm sorry, you're going to be the star of this show. I hope you girls are okay with that. We're talking about vague symptoms. Now we go on to these secondary symptoms, which are showing a red flag. People need to heed them and come straight to hospital. Take a look.
I want to talk to you today about some symptoms that you shouldn't really ignore and that you should definitely see your GP about. You normally reach your menopause after the age of 50 or 51, and normally you would miss your periods for about 12 months before we can call it the menopause. However, if you start to bleed after this point, even if it's just a tiny spot, we want to see you about this because it could be a sign of endometrial cancer. If you have a change in your bowel habit, it's so important to get it checked out by a GP. All of us will have off days when our bowels are not the same as usual, but if it's persistent and continuing, you should get it checked out by a GP.
What we've been working on is standardising our approach in how our GPs investigate people with vague symptoms. If you have that, please book an appointment and see the GP. Further information can be found on the Public Health GHA website.
Okay, so learning about those symptoms, we're going to address that in just a second, but we do have a message here. Hi, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in 2020 by a GP on the ball. When he saw an abnormal protein after it had been there in my blood results, when I had had a full body MOT with my same symptoms. I'm not sure how that's coming across red. Had that doctor revealed the protein, it would have been found quicker. As it's known, blood cancers, like mine, don't have a cure as others, but I am very positive and maybe one day AI will find the cure, Harry. I want to talk about AI because it's ruling our world. You know what?
No, I was going to bring it up.
I think everybody knows that I am not a fan of the internet, social media, and all the terrible things that come with it. AI puts the fear of God in me for so many reasons, but one thing we know it is making major headways in is medical world.
Diagnostics, yeah.
And look what he says. I am very positive and maybe one day AI will find the cure. Harry, I hope that is the case and our thoughts are with you in your struggle. Rena?
AI? I'm not really sure what I feel about AI. I mean, it's great. There's no denying that. You can feed all the information you want into AI and it will generate something from that, you know, based on all the information that it has, which is usually very accurate. We know that. The difference is when we're sitting with a patient in front of us, we're making a human assessment. And a lot of that assessment that we make from the patient is from our interaction person to person. AI cannot take that away. There's no way that it can discover what's going on with the patient from that clinical assessment that we'll make with them when they're in front of us and we're actually looking at them. I think it's great for so many things, and if it's based on information, then yes, that's great. If we feed AI all the information and try and process something from that, yes, it can be helpful.
Yeah, I think as far as like using maybe different just numerical factors, it would be great. Like you still have the one-on-one connection, you know, you're doing the assessment, but when it comes to, because a lot of the cancer treatment now are more personalized based on a lot of different things. You know, when my mom had cancer 25 years ago, there was pretty much like one hard chemotherapy, and now it's kind of like a cocktail based on me. It was based on me individually. So I think using it to kind of build that cocktail or that treatment plan, I think is great,
Yeah,
but still
good.
keeping the one-on-one connection.
And then talking about surgeons, for instance, I mean, I know we've got a new robotics surgeon.
I was going to mention that, actually.
Surgical machine now, which is amazing. So someone can remotely be treating a patient surgically from the UK, which is incredible. But not every surgeon's job can be taken over with technology, so we still need the physical doctors. I think it will be a while before AI can take over the role of a doctor.
That's moving really, really fast, though.
Yeah.
And what about those? I think it's self-explanatory. The clip that we just saw about those very severe red flags, and that you mustn't waste your time at all in seeking help from a doctor. But there are still people that will ignore these very big red flags, who are scared to know the truth, who are scared to confront it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we have that battle in so many different ways with patients. They'll often know that something could go wrong. For instance, smokers. Smokers know that that's going to be not a good prognosis on the long run. The number of diseases connected to smoking is not great, but the patient may choose to continue smoking. That's their choice. There's only so much we can do to try and help them or explain or educate the services and everything, but it's every individual's choice what they want to do. So yeah, unfortunately, we can educate as much as we can, but it does come down to every individual if they're willing to come forward and speak to a GP.
Talking about one particular cancer which is very prevalent in Gibraltar, it's been... I don't like facts and figures as much because they're not a true reflection of the cancer rates in Gib, because when it seems to have had a scary jump, it's almost a blessing, because it means that people are listening to their bodies. It means that people are taking those preventative measures and going in for early screening. And unfortunately, as a result of that, it's going to be reflected in the numbers. But one of the places, I mean, we know so well that Gibraltar is such a hot country. We are exposed to the sun 24/7. I burn my arms driving my moped. I mean, I'm not somebody that if I showed you my legs, you'd die, because they're so white, it's ridiculous. But there is something that says a growing number of individuals in their 30s and 40s are being diagnosed with severe forms like melanoma due to UV exposure in Gibraltar, accumulated since childhood. And that's where we've got to put our parents' hat on and think about children wearing no covered up swimsuits, no hats, no proper sunscreen, no sunglasses, and just running. That exposure is affecting them now, and that is actually a fact. The GHA, again, are doing incredible work, bringing the skin cancer awareness to the forefront by doing these clinics, but they book out like 300 and odd people in one day. It's incredibly well attended, and they've had to do like pop-ups, I think, during the years. What do you think about? Are we as Gibraltarians taking it for granted that we're just very resistant to the sun and we're used to it? No pasa nada?
I think so, if I'm honest.
Is there a little bit of that going on?
Yeah, I mean, in the UK
think
too,
so.
I think you start to feel that you're resilient, that, you know, you can cope with the sun when it's out. Everyone needs sunscreen. I mean, the fairer skinned you are, you definitely need sunscreen, but everyone generally needs sunscreen. I mean, I think with skin cancers, I don't know actually the statistics with where we're going with that, but we've got a really good dermatology service in the GHA. If there's ever any moles that you're not sure about, or if you're someone that's prone to moles, they'll always have a look and check. You know, they mole map you, so they'll monitor your moles. So that's a good way of making sure that everything's okay. But it's really just about sun protection. It's the most important thing over the summer. Any sun exposure, you need to have sunscreen on.
I mean, I think we've just grown complacent, I think, sometimes. And I include myself in that. Because
You're one to lay out at 10 o'clock in the morning and burn?
No, not at all, because I go like a lobster. But basically, I think we just become complacent in general because we live in the sunshine for such a long time each year. You know, we're just exposed to the sun all the time. I think it's more of a mentality of, oh, I'm going to pop to Morrison's, or I'm going to pop to town a second. Are you going to put on sunscreen? No, I'm only going to town. But I think it's kind of that mindset. I think that's what
I'm saying.
my experience
I
is.
burn my arms on the bike.
Exactly. But I think a lot of people think, well, no, if I'm going to the beach, then I'll take my sun cream.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put sun.
And
Exactly.
you don't
Any
have to be on
sun.
the beach to use it
No.
either. So imagine
Any
those
sun.
children going
There
to
you go.
school who are in the playground, don't have a cap on,
Yes.
haven't got sunscreen on their arms and faces, are doing sports days. You know, it's having an effect in the long run. You wanted some numbers. Cancer diagnosis rose to 49 cases in 2022. Here's the bit. And it's probably due to the testing that they're doing. It nearly tripled to 146 cases in 2023. And they're putting it down to basically that. But so much care. You have to have so much care. I want to really go through this because cancer is now taking a back burner to our scientists who are really making some inroads. And it's looking super positive. Look, pancreatic cancer, one of those cancers that you don't know, I've got a tummy ache and you're not quite sure what it is. A daily pill, long considered one of the hardest cancers to treat, a new daily pill has successfully doubled patients' survival time. Breast cancer, the protein shredder. For aggressive breast cancers fueled by hormones, doctors are using a brand new class of drug, and it attacks just the protein. It's making it easier on the patient as well with chemotherapy, which is very tiring on the body, very destructive. Now you can have an injection, which just hones in. I mean, the developments are incredible. So there's so much to come, and things are getting so much better. And so survival rates are literally up. In fact, I had it written here somewhere if I can find it. It's up 70%. In 2026, advancements in cancer care achieved a record 70% 5-year survival rate by transforming terminal diagnosis into manageable conditions. That is amazing.
Yep.
That's really, really good news. So they're making really good headway. Okay, so I want to talk to the lovely people in the audience so that they can share their stories with us and raise awareness for their cancer. So we're going to take a very short break and be back in just a minute.
The Boundary Room. The Boundary Room.
Welcome back, and I want to talk to you lovely people. Of course, many of you have been touched by breast cancer. What do you think about the things we've just been talking about? The positive news that there's been a lot of breakthroughs in treatment. It's becoming easier to survive this terrible disease, albeit an absolute terrible journey to get there, no doubt. What are your personal stories and thoughts about treatments? How has your interaction with the GHA and that kind of thing gone? Miss Lombard.
Well, I'm currently going through treatment.
Can you just grab the mic for me?
Good evening. I'm currently going through treatment myself, and I can say that I have no complaints about the GHA. Everything has gone very smooth, and there's been a lot of support from the breast clinic, and my referrals to the Royal Marsden have been very efficient. I've just been there last week in London, planning surgeries, etc. And I believe that hopefully with like all the advances and everything, survival will obviously be pushing towards that. But my experience in general has been great, especially also with the oncology, new oncology suite that we have. So, yeah.
What has your journey been like from the beginning? How did it all start for you? Did you go for a routine mammogram? Was it something
Well, obviously
you
what we
noticed?
mentioned earlier was about the routine mammograms, that I'm only 34. So obviously we
young.
don't qualify for that so young. So maybe it's something that the GHA can look at, not something that is like compulsory, but like Nicole mentioned, like an opt-in kind of thing. So for those women that want to get checked earlier on, instead of waiting till they reach
But they
menopause.
can't they? You can.
I think it's to do with the tissue, no? Something like
density of the breast.
Ah.
Yeah.
It used to be 50, I think, and then with the charity, we managed to lower it down.
Oh,
to
wow.
40.
Do we have a second mic there? We usually have a second mic. If not, we can pass the mic along.
And that's what I was saying, just so you can.
No, it was just explaining that I think it's because of the breast density that you can't actually get checked before you're 40. So for the breast cancer
That's interesting.
support group, yeah, we advocate to like check yourself in two different ways. So one of them is you at home, so non-GHA way, and then the other one is the GHA way. And the non-GHA way is our TLC, so basically touch. Like you'll see if you have any bumps, like you'll know what's normal and what's not normal. Look, any like discoloration, itchiness and stuff like that. And then C is check. So check with your doctor if you feel like anything is not normal. And if you don't know what not normal is, maybe your partner won't know what not normal is. So yeah. It's like it's been said before, like your partner will highlight it to you more than you would.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
and then the GHA way is to literally don't miss your mammogram. Please don't. And if you have to cancel for whatever reason, just call in to cancel, because that missed appointment that you don't go to could save someone's life. So
Yes, that is true.
Yep.
What do those lumps feel like, though? What are you looking for? Do they move? Are they hard? Do they vary in size? You?
Yeah, it feels, obviously it's something that is abnormal, but not necessarily at that moment you think, oh, this is cancer. You probably feel it and you think, oh, it could be hormonal. For example, I've got 2 young kids. Both of them are under the age of 4. So for me, it was like, oh, I've just finished the breastfeeding stage. Like they always say, like breastfeeding reduces the risk of breast cancer. So when you do feel something like that, you think, can't be. But then obviously as time goes on, you think, I've got to go get this checked, no? And like they mentioned that when anything is like that, obviously your way feeling it and then obviously going to get checked and checking out exactly what it is.
How far are you into your journey from diagnosis to today?
So I was diagnosed about February time this year.
Oh gosh, it's really recent.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of everything.
What goes through your head?
Right now it's a bit like getting through it and ticking boxes and getting through my sessions and just trying to get with it and through it as quick as possible to try to reach the end goal.
And as a mum, do you have thoughts?
My kids are so young that they don't even realize what's going on. So in a way, it feels good that obviously with this family support and my partner's support, which he's been great throughout, I know that they are not realizing. So for me, it's just head on, get through it and try to reach the end of it.
I guess that's one thing that we're very lucky with as well in Gibraltar. No, you're not in the middle of nowhere like my son was in Australia for 2 years. So you're in Gibraltar, you've got your parents, your grandparents, your close friends, your family, sisters, brothers. There's a lot of support around you, a lot of people that you can lean on. And of course, our very good charities, our excellent charities, actually. The lady beside you is another young lady, and you've also got breast cancer. Am I right? Was it breast cancer?
I'm in remission now.
You're in remission.
Yeah.
Can you hold the mic a little closer?
Sorry, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, me in 2024 at 34 as well.
Wow. And how did it happen to you?
So it was about June time, and I was in the beach and I squeezed the water out of my bikini, basically.
We've all done that one.
Yeah, and I felt something, and I just thought, it will go away. And then in August, I did the same and thought, oh, it's still there. But I did ignore it for about 2 months.
You did?
And then in August, I thought, oh, it's still there. So I thought I better go and get a referral to the breast team.
Did you share your concerns with your partner, your mum, or
Yeah.
did you
When
keep it to yourself?
actually, my mother-in-law was next to me at the beach, and I was like, touch this, does this feel? And she's like, you better get that checked.
Right. But you
So-
didn't. Not
That was the
initially.
second time. The first time, no. I just
Right.
thought, this is normal, maybe just ovulating, and to be honest, it kind of didn't really cross my mind, scarily.
What was
which
the
is-
journey like then?
Yeah, I would say, like Andrea, we speak a lot about it's just getting through it, and you just think. For me, it was surgery first. After surgery, then the chemo came. And it's just the next appointment. I think it's a little bit like an adrenaline rush, and you think, okay, I just need to get through this. And then for me, it's been more after.
That's the same as me.
For me, after.
That's the same as me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me about after.
For me, it's when like the chemo finishes, but now you have to live with these thoughts for the rest of your life. Any kind of symptom, you think, oh, what's going on? Now I'm in the medically induced menopause for the next 5 years. And basically, for me, that's been harder than anything else.
Did you have your
we think-
children?
Yeah, so my eldest is going to be 20, thankfully, and my youngest 16.
Right.
So obviously, that kind of happened for a reason, I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously I
Very
wouldn't have been
tough.
able to have kids now. So
How long have you been in remission for?
so I finished my last chemo session in January last year.
So
Yeah.
everything's really quite new.
It's still very real, very raw, very... For me, it's now I just feel like I want to create awareness. We think that a lot of people at young age, we think, it's not going to happen to us. People think that breast cancer is not going to hit them. And, I do like to talk about it and try and spread awareness as much as possible. I kind of try my best the first day of the month on social media and put up a post and say, remember to check your breasts, because we think that we don't really check them. And I think a lot of it to do is getting to know your body, knowing what your body feels like, knowing what your body looks like, feels like to touch, but also feel inside. And if you think that something just isn't right, obviously you just need to advocate for yourself. But then that's why we've got the GHA. Just go and see your doctor, let them know, and just obviously tell them something just doesn't feel right.
And your whole medical experience was a positive one? Did it run smoothly for you?
Yeah, it all ran smoothly. You see the breast team, they're incredible. Then you see your surgeons, the breast surgeons, they're great too. And then I went to Royal Marsden like Andrea, and they're amazing there as well.
Awesome.
They're amazing.
Excellent. Well, I wish you both the best. So
Thank you
young,
very
it's
much.
shocking, actually. Paul, can I talk to you? Because unfortunately, your wife lost her battle with breast cancer, and she was also young. How old was she when she passed?
She was 52 when she passed.
That's incredibly young as
But
well.
before we go down that path,
Yeah.
first of all, the oncology departments were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Throughout the journey, it was amazing.
Take your time. Take your time. I know it's tough.
I'd like to thank them all for their
excellent work. It was absolutely the best that they could possibly do. Everything from the treatment. This was all during COVID, so we had the added issues of having to go up to Spain, up to Marbella at the time because we couldn't go to Algeciras. But basically, everything was done that could be done. I'd like to add that her prognosis, I believe it was triple negative breast cancer that she had. There's a prognosis of 5 years with that. Her friend was diagnosed at exactly the same time, and her friend is still alive today.
Right.
There's always hope. Her friend was told, it's 5 years, and that's it. She's still alive today. So you've got to take that on board as well. You've got to fight. My wife passed at home.
It's okay, Paul. If you want to stop, it's okay.
It's all right. There's things that need to be said. She passed at home. She passed with her family as she wanted to. But as I say, there's so many people to thank. There's so many professionals that do an absolutely wonderful job. I know she paid the ultimate price, but in her journey, all that could be done was done.
Was done.
And the cancer centre at South Barracks, Cancer Relief, absolutely phenomenal as well. They were
They
there
are
to the last
amazing.
moment. They provided everything that needed to be provided for her to be comfortable. It was a long journey, but all that could be done was done. And as I say, with her friend, who is still alive today, everything was done that could be done, and she's survived. So even when the prognosis is 5 years, it's not a dead certainty. It's not, look, there's no hope.
Yeah.
So I think there's a positive to be taken from that.
And lots of things coming up with these new medications and treatments.
Well, not only that, during the course of her treatment at St. Bernard's Hospital, the oncology department was expanded considerably. It's been expanded considerably over the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Obviously, I try not to go to the hospital, but from what I gather, in the past 3 years that she passed, it's expanded even further. So, a lot of thanks to be given to the government and to the GHA for that work that's going on. David Balestrino, amazing bloke, amazing. So many of the staff there really are so vocational.
Yeah.
They really do need to be thanked. As I say, you're dealt cards in life, but you've always got to stay positive. My late wife was very positive, very religious, taken all over the place, all over Europe to your religious
Lourdes and things
and
like
so
that.
on and so forth. We had gallons of water in the house, and you've just got to live positively because there's always hope, as I say, with my wife's friend.
What was your wife's name?
Michelle.
Michelle. What's your lasting memory of Michelle? A happy one.
If I tell you about it, I'm going to cry. It's really sad. But pretty much she has a very good friend who's a priest, and he used to come around the house on a regular basis, and seeing them together was very gratifying. She went feeling very positive to where she was going.
She had her faith, and that was
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have faith tattooed across here in exactly the same place as she had it.
Right.
And we got a dog when she got informed that she had cancer, and her name was Faith. Well, her name is Faith. I still have her. And I think she has the same character as my wife.
Well, you never know.
No.
She might be going through the dog, and she's around.
As I say, very sad, but I
Yes.
still think that there's a lot of good being done, a lot of positive things, and it all seems to be moving in the right direction. Advances are phenomenal.
Paul, thank you so much for sharing what is an incredibly difficult, very, very difficult story. You've been incredibly brave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we go to somebody else? Up at the top row over there, let's have your experiences. What do you think of this treatment that's coming out and how things are evolving? What would you like to see happen, perhaps?
I'd like to see it carrying on the way it's going now.
Yeah.
Because things are most definitely improving considerably. Because I was first diagnosed in 1991 in my left breast on a well woman check because I was moving GPs. I had no idea that I had cancer in my breast. And I actually ended up, by the time I got to the Marsden, I had a very aggressive stage 3 cancer. Wow. I had 3 tumours, in fact, by then. Wow. And I was put into a clinical trial, which is called ECF, which lasted about a year. I had 27 weeks of chemotherapy through a Hickman line, wow. 7 weeks of radiotherapy to my breast, 5 to my axilla.
Oh.
I then went on to surgery. And at the end of it, my prognosis, because then in those days they gave you that, I was told by Professor Smith in the Marsden that I had a 50% chance of living for 2 years. And that was 1991.
1991.
Wow.
Well done, you.
And so I carried on after that. I think one of the things that helped was I had a 3-year-old when I was diagnosed. My only child, much wanted, long awaited, and that was a huge stimulus. I also had fantastic family support. They told me I couldn't look after a 3-year-old with the chemotherapy, which was true. I couldn't get up a flight of stairs at one point. My mother came and lived with us for a year, over a year, because my father had died the year before. And I think that was a huge stimulus, but I had fantastic family support from my husband, my sisters, and all the rest of it. One of the hardest things was I'm the eldest of 4 daughters. And so my mother obviously worried about, but none of them had it. So I recovered from all of that. My husband's Gibraltarian, we retired to Gibraltar. And I went into the mammogram service here, which is fantastic. I can't speak highly enough about the charity support and the mammogram service in the GHA. And in 2014, I was diagnosed with a stage 2 tumour in my right breast.
Oh, no.
On mammogram.
Right.
So I went back to the Marsden because I'd previously been treated there. Same sort of treatment, chemo, radio, surgery, etc. And here I am, after 10 years of letrozole and everything else.
That's an incredible story.
It's, I think there is hope. We have hope. I have tremendous hope for my daughter, who's now in her late 30s. There's a programme in UK that the Marsden has said she should go into, which is for families like ours. I'm not genetically positive. But their take is that maybe they haven't found the gene yet. So she actually starts annual mammograms at the age 40. Because in UK you start at 50 and you have a mammogram every 3 years, but she's already enrolled into this programme, ready to go. So there's things like that which make me very hopeful, as well as the fantastic treatment.
I'm very glad.
And although
to
I
hear
was
that.
treated in UK, I think what I hear here is very good treatment. Fantastic support from charities, cancer reset, cancer relief. You've got all sorts of stuff here. We've got a lot of support, a lot going for us.
Let me just have a quick word with the cancer charity and find out what you guys are up to, because it's an eternal struggle, isn't it, keeping this awareness running?
Yeah. Yes, but well, it's good. It's what keeps us going to listening to all these stories. Everything that we do, as long as it helps one person, it makes what we do worth it. So last year was a very big year for us. We fundraised actually to donate to the new oncology suite. So we gave £185,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a humongous couple of years. And then this year we sort of had a bit of, not a break, but a little bit of a break from January till May. And now we have our Walkers for Knockers campaign in June. So walk 5 kilometers to raise awareness and funds for us. And then in July we'll have our tapas night fundraiser as well, and then in October is Pink October, so it goes crazy. But yeah, so we keep donating throughout the year anyway for things like the latest one was the lateral arm for the mammogram unit. So basically, instead of screening just downwards, they can now screen sideways.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
So better visuals all round.
So the
no?
screening is better, and like the biopsy taken is better technically. So the diagnosis and stuff will be good, and you don't have to actually travel to the UK for it. It can be done here, and that was literally done last
that
week.
is really
So,
good
yeah.
news.
So we're always fundraising to better the services at the GHA. And then we're planning the end of this year, like a massive year for next year, because it's our 20th anniversary. So you'll be hearing a lot more from us next year.
Is all of these different functions and fundraising events on your page?
Yes, sorry. Yes, I was supposed to say that. Yes, so on our social media, we blast everything on there. So tickets will be out for the fundraisers there soon. And yeah, we'll say a lot. Well, our flag days in October, and then we have Move the Boob as well in October, and our Pink Party. So all of that.
I'm loving that Move the Boob.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be for like sports. It's so Walkers for Knockers in June is for anyone to
Walkers for Knockers. I mean,
Walkers
you're
for
so
Knockers.
creative with these titles.
So that's for the general
So
public.
you're
for
telling
anyone.
me nobody wears a sports bra? They're moving the boob and Walkers for Knockers.
I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but maybe we can incorporate it into next year's advertising. And then in October, it's all about sports. So it's basically moving your body to raise awareness for breast cancer.
You do an amazing job. Does anybody want to add before we wrap up? Because the night flies.
I was going to
Yes, we have a lady here who works with an alternative therapy, because different things are always good and helps when you're in a terrible mindset. No?
Yeah, so I work in the Cancer Relief Centre and I'm the art psychotherapist there. I predominantly work with children. I haven't had a lot of adults, but mostly children who are going through bereavement, or a parent or a grandparent has been diagnosed. And it's very difficult for them to navigate that on their own. And art therapy provides them a space where they want to explore it using materials, or a space where they can run from it. So I've had a few clients who just don't want to talk about anything, but really their artwork tells me what's going on. And I think it's also really important, the relationship that I build with them as well. I think the hardest thing for me is when I finish and I have to let them go. I don't see them anymore. So, but it's also really nice to hear that maybe their grandparent or their parents have finished chemo and are doing well, and they've rang the bell. And I think it gives a big insight into the mental health that supports cancer as well. And
very important.
Really important for these children to grow up knowing they have a space to talk and to be heard. And, you know, a lot is going on for a child who is trying to navigate this. So, we offer that. We offer drama therapy as well up there. So, really progressive. The Cancer Relief Centre do an amazing job up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, apart from the fact that Gibraltar's blessed with the most amazing charities and the work that they do and the dedication that people put into it for no money or reward at the end of the day. But the Cancer Relief Centre is something special. What other things do they do up there? They do a little bit. They've got grief counselling as well.
They do grief counselling.
You want to say something, Paul?
Yeah, they...
Actually, during my wife's course...
Oh, just grab the mic a sec.
Yeah, there.
I was offered various times to go up. The counselling was for me as well.
Yes,
not
I got
just
counselling
for,
too.
for my
Yeah.
wife.
Incredible.
So that was amazing that they were there to listen to you.
Yeah.
To help you, to support you during, because obviously it's a big journey for the whole family. I had help with my son as well. My son at the time was 13, 14.
Oh, difficult age. He tended to swing more towards me, to move away from his mother, so he didn't hurt so much. There's all sorts of issues which were dealt with, and I think they do a wonderful job. They do,
awesome.
very much so.
And even after even aftercare.
Yeah, an after effect. Can I just ask you before you move on very quickly, his son, for example, who was showing issues, how would you have dealt with the child that age, which is very difficult, hormonal, in between, 14?
I think it depends on the child. So I build a therapeutic relationship with them. I get to know them really deeply. They share parts that they don't share with anyone else. And if it comes to bereavement, it's really helping them navigate what that looks like, what it's going to be like, things that they want to express or share, or it's not necessarily telling them what to feel, but allowing them to get to that place in a safe way. If you're not told how to feel like that way when you're grieving, you can sometimes go off the rails. And I think putting those barriers up and teaching kids like you can express these emotions this way and it's healthy. Yeah. It's a lot easier when they're older. Like I never had that sort of experience growing up. So being able to give that to them is really rewarding as well.
That's good. The lady beside you is going to have the final say for the evening. Dirme.
Thank you. I do work as a volunteer up in Cancer Relief, and we do have a day center for the clients who are sick. They normally come in and we look after them throughout the day. We do exercises, we play with them, we care for them, and we are all day with them, looking after them. But the staff there is great.
Yeah.
I can reassure you that you're well looked after.
Well, look, guys, for those who work the charity tirelessly and raise awareness, for those of you who are in remission, going through it, unfortunately, and lost a loved one, I so appreciate you coming in and sharing your stories with us. And I wish you all the best of health and luck moving forward. Thank you, girls, for joining me this evening, and of course, you at home. There's a very important message, and one that we must not forget. The GHA is doing a sterling job offering those early testing so that they could diagnose earlier. The earlier, the better, the more it's going to save lives. Don't let it go past. Also listen to your bodies. Those early warning signs that perhaps you're not paying attention to could be something worth looking at, as Rena has said, up at the GHA. Thank you so much for joining us. Harry, thanks for sharing your story. Best of luck to you too. And we won't be with you next week. It is a bank holiday, but we will be back on the 22nd with more here at the Powder Room. Good night.
Thank you.